Good morning from the garden. It is a lovely overcast morning, and I had so much fun making last week's garden tour. I thought I would do another one, but I would include a couple of other things from the property and what I've been up to this week. So this is Blackie. You guys have not met Blackie yet officially. Blackie is a hobo chicken that I found abandoned on a logging road, and she's the nicest chicken I've ever met in my life. She chases after me when I'm walking. Anyway, I thought I would take you guys on a garden tour and show you guys a little bit of the garden because I filmed that video 2 weeks ago and already so much stuff has changed. So let's take a look. So as we walk into the garden, you can see that my strawberry patch is a little thinner than last time. I went in and took out probably 60 runners, all transplanted into a flat that I will be planting later in another bed. The cherry tomatoes are really taking off. I'm just letting them go wild, and they're really seeming to like it, and no sign of disease yet. My dahlias here are still very small, but my propagated dahlia is starting to send up another bloom. Take a closer look. Just beginning to bud. In the distance, you can see my row of tomato plants, and they are just totally gone crazy. And some of them are starting to ripen up a little bit, which is exciting, but we'll walk over there in a second. One of this week's projects was to get my winter veggie starts put in the ground. So on the left we have kale, arugula, and lettuce. And on the right we have Fielderkraut cabbage, which is a very interesting type of cabbage that grows really huge heads about like the size of my head or bigger. They're planted really close together, but I will be spacing them out more evenly once the tomatoes come out. But I wanted to get them in the ground before it gets much later in the season. Over here is another new addition. I took out the not so great stuff, left the good stuff, and planted bachelor's buttons, 2 different types, the magic mix and fantastic mix. And then right here, I also seeded some bells of Ireland. Everything is starting to come up, and nothing has been eaten by slugs, surprisingly. As for the orchard, there's not much new. The deer have faded away as hunting season starts tomorrow, so they know and they're out of here. We do have some solar panels set up, and this is just a temporary little setup while we get things figured out. Right here, the corn is starting to get much taller. It is about as tall as me now. Actually, the purple is over my head, and we even have lots of cobs forming. Maybe I was wrong about not getting any corn this year. Really pretty, and we still have about, a month and a half before the frost will kill everything. So we might get some corn cobs. That'd be fun. These ones are much less impressive, but that's okay. Down here on the right, you can see neon green. Those are zinnias that I planted in with my rosemary and thyme. I'm thinking that they might bloom before the end of the year. It's definitely a bit of a gamble, but we'll see. Those were transplants that I started. The French fillets are coming on, and they're pretty tasty. And the herb garden is still thriving as usual. But let's look at these tomatoes, and you can see some of the reddening coming on. These ones are actually looking a little diseased. This is new. But I'm very excited for the tomato harvest. Should be here soon. The anise hyssop is looking gorgeous. I actually saw a hummingbird flying over and eating these purple flowers. These are in full bloom now, which they weren't when I walked through last time. That's Blackie's day pen. I put her in there while I'm filming just to be sure she doesn't go do anything destructive. I really love this part of the herb garden because I think the peach color of the zeolites calendula looks really cool with the purple anise hyssop. I can't even imagine how beautiful it's going to look here once things kind of fill in and it gets a little more established, and especially once I get my greenhouse and shed done. So right here are the yellow wax beans. You can see how far apart they're spaced just from slug damage, but we are getting some, and they're pretty tasty. I haven't pickled any yet, but I'm excited to. Here you can see some ripe ones. One's almost ripe. Over here in the leafy patch of nothingness, that was where a continuation of the sunflower project got planted, most of which have succumbed to the slugs. There was probably, I would say, 30 sunflowers planted here, and we have 5 still remaining, and they all look worse for wear. If we get one, I'd be pretty shocked. And then we have 2 pickle plants that are very small, but they might come to life. In our further out bed, you can see this one was planted with 200 sunflowers. We've got 2 left that are standing tall in the distance. Those ones are absolutely going to make it, and I'm excited to see what they turn out like. Those are fighters. I had to pause and murder a couple of slugs, but over here to the right, my dry beans are doing good. The ones that have lived, they're starting to set pods, and they look very nice and juicy. Excited to see what those turn out like. Over here on the left, there's a new planting. These are called Shabbat carnations, and they are going to be overwintering here. They are a perennial, so we'll see how they do. Hopefully the slugs don't eat them. It seems as though the slugs are completely disinterested in the snapdragons that I have here, and so I'm hoping it's the same for the carnations. Another new development is that Drew and I cut down a couple of large alder trees that were in this area, and the light that's coming in is way better. I haven't gotten to cleaning them up yet, but I will be moving in with my chipper, and then we're going to mill all of the logs up to use for various building projects. This space right here is a mess, as you can see, and the plan is to dig garden beds into this area, but I've been naughty. Runner duck mix, bunch of mutt ducks, 10 for $40. A pretty good deal. They're going to be living here in a coop, and I'm going to build it right there where all the salmon berries are growing. And then as the garden expands further out, I'll just continue moving the coop. And I'm also going to be fencing this whole thing with permanent fencing. This looks like a total disaster, but this is the project zone. I just got all of these fence posts for free. They're used raspberry posts for trellising raspberries on a farm. And I went up to Linden yesterday morning, got 2 bundles of them for free, and they're going to be the new fence posts for the garden to keep Dusty out, to keep deer out, and to contain the ducks so that they can free range in the garden and hopefully nothing disturbs them. Okay, back to the garden. So last week I also harvested all of our red Norland potatoes that were right here, and we got a very nice pile of them. I am not sure how many pounds. I haven't weighed it yet, but I'm very excited to try them. After digging up the potatoes, I came in, freshened up the bed, and added some more cabbage. Far left is Napa cabbage, some rutabagas that got mixed up with my icicle radishes, so I'm not sure exactly what those are going to be, more kale, and then here are seeds for Cerinthe / honeywort, which is a flower, cool flower that will overwinter here and bloom early spring. And then under the cardboard is my nigella, which is still germinating, I believe. Let's check. I figured out that direct seeding with cardboard during the summer really helps. Oh, there's some slugs under here. That's not good. No sign yet. Back over here we have the cherry tomatoes are thriving, the zucchini and everything else over there is thriving. I've been slowly picking off the rest of the cabbage, and right here front and center I have some potatoes that I still need to dig. They are completely done and I just haven't gotten to it yet. The next planted item, we have a small row of Swiss chard right in front of me, as well as some transplanted carrots. You're not supposed to transplant carrots, but mine just didn't really do very good because of slugs and the heat. And so I wanted to try, and they actually do look pretty good. I transplanted them a couple of days ago, and they are growing, so we'll see. I think the main reason that people don't transplant them is because the roots get deformed, but as long as it tastes like a carrot, I'll be happy. We've got some Lata tomatoes that are doing pretty good. Those tomatoes aren't my favorite. They're very bland and kind of like watery and plain tasting, and they crack very quickly, so before they're even ripe, they're splitting. So I will not be planting those again next year. I consider this view to be one of the prettiest views in the garden, despite all my building supplies everywhere. I have a sunflower. This is a lemon queen sunflower. This is from the seeds that I got from the airport for free, and it's blooming. It's a branching variety, and you can see all the little heads of other blooms to come. And the one next to it is also about to burst open. And the crazy thing is, far off in the distance by my garden shed, that one is the same variety, and it's probably almost 9 feet tall. Just look at the height on this thing. That is a huge sunflower. And it's starting to branch and has a lot more blooms to come too, it looks like. I'm very excited to actually see a sunflower here. As we walk down the garden path, you can see another little fun surprise here on the ground. This is one of our ever-bearing strawberries, and it's starting to get red, and it looks giant and beautiful. And some of the other ones are also blossoming, so we're going to have a very small crop of fall strawberries that I'm excited for. And look at this kiwi. It's really starting to take off. There's tons of new growth now. after being pretty, rocky for a little bit. Over here in the transplant zone, things are looking really good. We've got lots of snapdragons. They got a little bit leggy because I caught COVID and I was sick, and so a lot of my flowers did get kind of leggy from that time. But all these are looking great. I need to get these Brussels sprouts right here in the center planted ASAP. They're getting huge. I also need to get this lupin over here planted. It's getting big and beautiful. Apparently slugs like this, so I'm a little nervous to set it out, but hopefully it'll be okay. Well, thanks for coming to the tour. Next week's projects, hopefully I'm gonna get this duck coop finished, and I will see you guys next week. I think they like it.